YouTube, what the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage here, back on Total War Rome 2. I got a chance today to play a couple of battles against Trolley, who's kind of a more competitive player. He's hosted some tournaments and stuff like that, and just on my friends list, caught me online, wanted to play a match. I was like, sure, why not? So we're gonna play some matches here. We decided to go successor state on successor state, and I picked Macedon just to potentially. You know what, I like trying to use them because they're a fun historical faction, even though you can't really use them too historically because pikes are very difficult. Though I will say this, in the Blade Balance mod, the pikes do serve an interesting purpose, not so much as being a killing force, as much as they have more men per unit, which means it's going to take more arrows and more effort to kill them, which means that they tend to be more effective. Not necessarily, again, at getting a ton of kills, but just being annoying. Here, I've got 3 Thracian Cav, I've got 4 Thessalian Cav, 2 on each flank. My main line is 5 Thorax Swords. I've got 2 Mercenary Thracian Warriors, 1 Royal Peltist, 3 Mercenary Thracian Peltist over here, and then 2 Thessalian Cavalry. I had not expected to see so many horse skirmishers from the Seleucids, so this actually caught me off guard. So yeah, it's gonna be kind of interesting to deal with them. They're gonna prove to be Trolley saying goodbye because we just played the matches, so no worries. So anyway, yeah, I had some fun matches with them here, so we'll just kind of see it out. Anyway, this is going to be annoying for me, the horse skirmishers are. I'd kind of expected to just see maybe more Median Cav or potentially even Ozit Knights, since they got a little bit better in this particular mod, so that's kind of what I had expected. But I kind of like the build that Trolley's brought here, and mine is an all-rush build. I also had no idea whether or not to expect pikes from Trolley, and I was hoping that he would not bring them, but he did. So, yep, sure, that would be fun. I don't think he knows he's getting recorded, but whatever. Anyway, so yeah, the pikes are going to be a problem, and the reason they're a problem is because I can't attack them head on, and I can't avoid them very easily because he's got melee infantry to back up. Now I have more melee infantry, and just pound for pound, my melee infantry is going to be better. Not because Thorax Swords from Macedon beat the ones from the Seleucids, but because I have the Thracian Warriors and his Thurio Spears, though the Thurio Spears provide more of an interesting support element. He's want me to set up some 2v2s with him. Anyway, and I'll probably do that at some point. The pikes, like I said, if I ignore... Oh, he's got 5 Thorax Swords. Yeah, so this is actually going to be a very difficult match for me. I went rushy, and then once I saw his build, I was not a big fan of my build. I was hoping that he was going to be a little more cavalry heavy, and that I could use these Peltists to kind of help against the cavalry while my Thessalians do some work of their own. So bringing the more skirmishy component on the cavalry side and a more infantry heavy is definitely not going to play into my hands. These Levy pikemen are going to be a nasty deterrent. I can't just sit back either because he's actually brought Eastern Slingers and I did not. It's one of the reasons why I think Macedon struggles in multiplayer. Even in the Blade Balance mod, it's going to struggle some. And it's because Thessalian Cav, like say for instance, they're good. Median Cav are cheaper. The Eastern Slingers provide a nice cheap skirmishing element for the Seleucids, whereas I could bring standard Greek Slingers. They will not do well versus the Eastern Slingers. But again, to be skirmishing effective with Macedon, it costs a lot more money. And so basically that's Macedon's biggest problem, is that anything they have that's good costs too much money to be used easily. But again, that's why I like to bring him, because it's a challenge. I saw the Cataphracts inbound here, and I decide I'm going to sacrifice my Thracian Cavalry because I'm trying to avoid the charge, but his Cataphracts just smash right through the Thracian Cavalry, killing all of them, and then they kill my Mercenary Thracian Warriors too. So over 100 kills on a single trample charge on the Hellenic Cataphracts. Those guys just absolutely wrecked this whole vicinity, so I've got to bring in Thessalian Cav to try and calm this down a little. I'm going to get a nice charge on his Medians, and I've got Thorax Swords inbound, but already that's a bit of a rough engagement, and I'm hoping these Thracian Warriors will come back as soon as possible. I didn't kill a single Hellenic Cataphract, and Trolley made off with 130 some odd kills. I was hoping that since he didn't have the charge order on my Thracian Cavalry, that it would kind of just derp up the charge, but instead his guys, even though they didn't have the charge order, just absolutely flattened my Thracian Cavalry, and then their charge bonus still applied to my Thracian Warriors, and it was just not a good situation for me. My Mercenary Thracian Cav's not doing a whole lot. It's been a waste of money for me so far, which is unfortunate. Had I not brought it, though, his horse skirmishers could have just worked at will on my Thessalians, and that would have been rough. In retrospect, it may have been a slightly more safe idea to just bring a crap load of the cheap slingers, and then that probably would have given him more trouble than bringing the Thracian cavalry, and would have been cheaper, and I might have been able to afford some other options. Because now I don't have any long-range skirmishing, and again, you can see the levy pikes, they're easy to kill with arrows, but they also have 200 men, so there's more men to take care of now. So, yeah, and this is in the largest unit settings too, by the way. Trolley's back here trolling me with these skirmish cavalry. I hate having to use a volley from my Royal Peltist, but I'm going to try and push those guys back. I don't want him getting my Royal Peltist in the back. This engagement over here is not terrible for me at the moment. It's not good. I'm going to be able to kill the thorax swords, and my regrouped Thracian warriors will help destroy it. And then we've basically wrecked the Median Cav for not too much loss, but now I'm getting a little too far ahead of myself here, and then my charge gets a little botched here. I need to pull this swordsman out of that fight and over here. But again, here's where the levy pikes can be annoying since I don't have an answer to them. He can push them up, they won't get that many kills, but it basically keeps me from being able to be very effective here. His cataphracts are going to absolutely pummel my Thessalian Cav here. But I don't have a choice but to go head-to-head with him. I've got to stop these guys. At least I feel like I do. I'm going to bring in my cavalry to try and throw some javelins into the back of his Hellenic cataphracts. But he's going to bring some horse skirmishers over to try and stop that too. But I am going to get a few kills here, which is going to be handy. Actually, I don't know why these guys took off. Maybe it's because they were getting charged by the horse skirmishers. That's why. Yeah, I mean, his Median Cav was no problem to handle. These Thurio Spears, though, being very annoying and just getting a bunch of kills on me that the Median Cav couldn't get. Ended up getting a few kills out of the Thracian warriors, nothing good. Gonna try and get rid of these skirmish cav again. Don't like having to use my javelins on them, but I need to get rid of them. They're killing a bunch of my infantry. So this fight over here is not going great for his general, though he is winning, but he's bringing reinforcing troops, and these pikes are gonna get a couple of kills. I can't really get around here with my general because there's too many slingers and pikes. On this flank, I'm tying down his swordsman. Again, doing fine at mopping up his Median Cav. It hasn't been too bad so far, but I'm trying to keep my Mercenary Thracian Peltist safe. I honestly ought to just take the fight with the Thurio Spears. My Thracian Peltist, 3 of them will easily beat the Thurio Spears. But he's putting his Thurio Spears into square occasionally too, to try and make them more annoying to kill. Median Cav are going to get hit here. They're going to take a pretty nasty charge there. Got skirmish cav nearby. So again, right now the fight is close-ish, but the problem is that he's got these slingers and other units back here that I'm just not going to be able to deal with late game. So even if I win these flank engagements, I've got a big-time problem back here in the center. So yeah, taking out his cavalry is mostly complete. All he has is skirmish cav and his cataphracts, but I mean, those are useful cav units. 183 kills on the cataphracts right now. And see how he can kind of just go into shield wall here with the swords, and then his pikes will step in and get the job done. So they've actually got 41 kills. This pike unit has been extremely effective because I haven't pulled back. Now I should have, because with his guys in shield wall, I can safely pull back here and be safe. My general is very vulnerable to skirmishers, so I'm going to have to be careful. I have a little bit of cavalry left on the field with these units over here, and we've mostly wrapped up this fight. My Thracian warriors are attacking the Thurio Spears, which is kind of a pointless engagement. I'm going to pull away from them here in a minute. Over here, I've got some swordsmen that got surrounded. The pikes came over to support and help defeat one of my thorax swordsmen, who did not perform well in that fight. And I'm too late to save it with my cavalry, though I'm going to try and bring my peltist over here and get some kills. So at this point, the battle is definitely souring against me. It is not looking good. He's got his guys in spear wall, so they're going to last forever. The pikes can keep doing this kind of stuff. This unit has actually gotten a pretty striking number of kills for being a pike unit, especially a levy pike unit. So nice use of the pikes here. And again, the pikes, just even as a simple deterrent, have been a big problem for me. Because I have not, I had to try and outflank them, which is just going to get my guys kind of in a screwed up formation. Just hasn't been that great for me. Gonna get a nice charge here on the thorax swords. Will not be enough to kill them, most certainly, but should get a charge that will... I was hoping it would kill more than that, but I guess my unit's formation was kind of screwed up. I should have gotten spread out wider and hit them, and then it would have done more damage. So this ends up being kind of a pointless engagement here for only a couple of kills. My peltists were starting to rack up some kills on his swordsmen, but now that they've disengaged, they'll be a lot safer. They are still in the shield wall, even though they're running around chasing units. They're going to get charged by a Thracian warrior here. And the Thracian warrior will do very nicely on the charge. It just won't do great in prolonged combat. But yeah, there's a lot of Seleucids left, so managed to damage a good number of his units, get a decent number of kills, but he's got a lot more men. He can afford to take the losses, and I can't. So again, that kind of is going to come down to the more expensive nature of a Macedonian army. Look at these thorax swords. They managed to get into shield wall, and just because the Thracian warriors don't do as much after the charge, they're going to end up getting wrecked on by horse skirmishers. Trolley's done a great job taking care of his units in this battle. His general, I nearly got his general a couple of times, but not quite, and I'm out of javelins on my royal peltist. So, unfortunately, I really don't have a good way to get at his general other than just trying to attack, and since he wasn't charging, I went ahead and charged forward, though I probably won't get any kills here. I got 2. That's more than I thought I would. So, but yeah, his general's going to live, and I have no way to break the pikes. So at this point, it is definitely writing on the wall GG. So enjoyed the game with him. Definitely made it challenging for me here. Really, again, he had superior numbers, and whenever I had to get into certain engagements that were not beneficial for me, like engaging around pikes, which I didn't have a choice, there was no way to not engage around the pikes, it basically ensures that his swords are going to get the better performance regardless. And they ended up coming in very handy in that fashion. And then bringing the horse skirmishers rather than just going all on like a heavier melee cav element. So you can see that his cav element was relatively light. The horse skirmishers, the Median cav were only medium. He had 1 heavy horse as the Seleucids. So that's kind of what caught me off guard. And I was prepared for a more horse-heavy engagement with him, and my army performed poorly against what he had here. So really nothing on my side doing a whole lot of damage whatsoever. My general ended up routing before even getting to do anything. That one charge of the Hellenic cataphracts made up over half of their kills, which was still, that charge was absolutely brutal. And again, yeah, you can see his thorax swords getting the better of those engagements because they were supported by the pikemen. So definitely a nice army pick there by Trolley Bully. Hope you all enjoyed this one. HeirofCarthage signing off for now.